Well, I believe. Oh, there we go. I think we're live.
Saying
Well,
we're
Brian.
live.
Well, Brian, welcome to the off season. No, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, that I missed it by about 5 minutes, unfortunately. So now I got to go back to work. But yeah, no, the off season, is it or is it not a thing? I guess that is the question we are going to strive to answer today.
Yep, and welcome back, everyone. We took a hiatus for a little bit, and we're gonna get better at this. I would I would say that we're starting back up because it's the off season, but I think that's what we're here to talk about. So. And I'm
So
going to make the assumption that we have no professional athletes out there who just finished up, uh, you know, a season where they've been riding for 21 straight days and or racing for 21 straight days and stuff like that. So our audience is going to be our masters and our amateurs. And I do have a couple of athletes that still are racing cross. I got one this weekend coming up at the Pan Americans or the Pan Ams. But other than that, I think all of our clients are pretty much wrapped up for the year.
most, yeah, no, I've got a couple that are doing some winter track racing over in Europe, a couple places, but excuse me, but yeah, for the most part, I'm kind of in the same boat. We are theoretically in 2026 at this point. So
So
um,
the question becomes, how would we define off season? Is there actually an off season?
well, I'm going to start with my typically smart-assed answer and go with yeah, the off season is the 2 weeks you take to recover from the illness you got at your last big major event that everybody else was attending. They all flew in on airplanes. We all hung around in an isolated space for weeks at a time, and proceeded to get half the population of the Earth sick for the 2 weeks. But I think the real answer is yeah, there's an off season. I guess depending on how you want to define it, it's certainly a segment. I would consider an off season the segment that doesn't include any racing. That you're rebuilding, you're restructuring, you're working on mobility, working on skills, working on all those things.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No. I think I that's where I 100% agree because I mean, typically when I hear off season, sometimes you'll hear people talk about having to take a period of time, almost like detraining. And I think both you and I would agree that you might do some type of I don't know, some transition.
Yep.
You may take 2 to 4 weeks to not go as hard as you were before. But I think there's a big difference between just recovery and detraining, and then what you're doing during that time period. And it definitely does not mean no longer work.
No, you're not. You're not sitting on the couch eating Doritos too much of the time during that. I suppose there was a couple of days I sat on the couch and ate Doritos, but the reality. Excuse me. Speaking of my 2 weeks of recovery here, I think the reality is if you want to be competitive at a high level in really any sport, certainly cycling, there is no real. I'm going to take 2 months off and not look at a bicycle and not look at the inside of a gym and I don't know, go on a European vacation or something. It doesn't. It doesn't work. You
Right.
you are so far behind the eight ball by the time you actually get moving towards your goals again that you're never you're never building on previous years. You're always basically starting over from scratch if you take that approach, especially in modern times when you've got riders doing cross. I've got riders heading to Europe to do some winter track racing. For them, there's absolutely no off season. It's just one transition from one sport, or I'm sorry, one
Phase.
segment of sport. I'm sorry.
phase.
And or phases. Yeah, phases of training, going through all of it. So I think, you're just going to have to. It takes some diligence to come off. We got back from Roubaix, what, 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
Yep. Yeah. 3 weeks.
So, man, I didn't want to be on a bike. I didn't want to look at the bike. I didn't build it for 3 or 4 days after I got home. I didn't put it back together. Didn't look to see if there was a scratch on it. Didn't care. And you have to get out of that mode really quickly too, because
Right.
it becomes pervasive. You start spiraling into that. Now, the Doritos and the couch are a pretty cool thing. So maybe I should just stay there, and then obviously that doesn't work. So
Right. Hey, for those who've joined, if you have any comments, if you're on Facebook, you can always throw them down in the comments section, and we'll get to those. Yeah, I mean, because I see that transition period, just what you're talking about, that 2 or 3 is kind of a time to just kind of to reset, reflect, and then rebuild. And you and I have talked about this ad nauseum together. It's like, this is the perfect time to do 2 things. Number one, October, November, go do those long rides, build that aerobic, base, that aerobic system. I was racing with a guy years ago, and Mike made the comment one day. He's like, the stupidest thing in the world is for somebody to tell me not to ride in October, November, when it's absolutely beautiful in the Blue Ridge Mountain area. And then the second thing is, this is the perfect opportunity to get into the gym and start working that, heavier maximal strength and that type of stuff that would typically fatigue you from being on the bike. So if you're not concerned about doing a bunch of VO2 max work on the bike, you can actually do those big lifts in the gym and it not hurt your bike training, because all you're doing is building aerobic base.
Certainly more complementary with those 2 things. And why wouldn't you take, perfect point. I mean, I'm in Colorado. It's been absolutely gorgeous the last few days, riding around in short sleeve jerseys and shorts. A couple of the days, perfectly comfortable. Leaves are turning. It's gorgeous. I don't have any specific structured, torturous things I have to do. I'm just going out and pointing a bike in a direction and wandering around and looking at the canyons and looking at the mountains and, actually going back to, getting reconnected with that love of riding a bicycle. We all started this sport because we loved riding a bicycle. The last 2 weeks before like Masters Worlds is, there's not a lot of love left for riding a bicycle by the time you get to that point, and being able to kind of just take a step back and go, I'm going to go out for 2 hours. And if I feel like I'm going to go out for doing another hour, I'll do another hour and we're all good. And then the gym side of it, absolutely critical. This is the opportunity to grow and strengthen that muscle, to make it, set it up to where it's more explosive when you need it to be, later on down the road. Great opportunity to actually do that. And as we get deeper into winter, the gym kind of shifts as a more of a priority, at least as far as I'm concerned, simply because, well, okay, I've got less hours during the day. I'm not going to sit, you could hold a gun to my head and I'm not going to sit on a trainer for 3 hours. I'm just not going to do it. That has absolutely no appeal to me. And I would really like to continue liking the sport after that ride. But so it gives you an opportunity to take advantage of less daylight, get into the gym, get some work in, work on that mobility, certainly work on that strength. And I get asked a lot why we do so much upper body work as well. And this might be a segue into another conversation we have, but if you ride a bike, if you ride a bike aggressively, if you race a bicycle, sooner or later you're going to crash. You know, I'd love to be able to
When
tell
was
you
your last
different.
crash?
Monday, Monday. Yeah, Monday. Yay.
Sorry about that.
No, you
Too
got to bring
soon.
it up. You got to bring it up.
Too soon.
Yeah, it might be too soon. Bike was fine though, so everything was good. You know, we're gonna land on shoulders. We're gonna land on, you know, in awkward places. We're gonna basically jump out of a moving car in our underwear at 35 miles an hour, and that's what's gonna happen. That's the exact equivalent of you know, a criterium crash, for example, right? You know,
Right.
plus 400 of your closest friends plowing in right behind you. But you know, take advantage of that. Utilize that time. Get stronger. Getting stronger is never going to be a bad thing. And if you're a 120-pound mountain goat climbing individual, I promise you're not going to be a 180-pound mountain goat climbing individual because you went into the gym. You might gain a pound or two of muscle, but the reality is that pound or two of muscle is going to have all kinds of advantages for you.
Right. Yeah. Your watts per kilo are going to be much better. And
Yep.
and if you go in at 120, you come out of 180, you're in the wrong sport anyway.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment.
Yeah, and also I think, you know, it's a great time to also take the opportunity to work on some of those things that you would want to try to fix that you just don't have time. You know, on the roadie side of the house, from my perspective, this is the great time. Skill sets that you and I don't even think about anymore. But how do you get into the pedals quickly? Uh, how do you corner better? How do you do those skill sets that you just don't have necessarily time for during your regular season? You know, cyclocross, mountain bike racers, you know, just that simple thing of that 10,000 times that you and I've clipped in, just getting to that level. So I think it's also a great time to do a lot of skill stuff. And I'd love to be out in Colorado so we could just do bump drills all day long. But
that would be fun. I swear I'm going to I'm going to set up a camp. Everybody goes out and buys $250 worth of used bicycle with cyclocross tires on it and a fixed gear, and we're going to have one of these big massive bike skills camps one of these days. It's so, you know, that's one of the really important things. I mean, being able to drive your bike, being able to avoid those crashes that are going to inevitably happen, knowing how to deal with those crashes that are going to inevitably happen. I mean, you know, you alluded to it earlier. I washed out and got a little scuff on the hip, but got back up. I was scuffed up essentially.
Right.
You know, no issue. Finished the ride. Didn't cut the ride short. You know, was chastising myself for, you know, taking a gravel corner a little too hot. But the reality is, it was a non-issue, and it was a non-issue. I'd like to think because I've spent years and years and years and years and years working on trying to acquire those skills, and at least, you know, and knowing how to fall.
Right.
You know, that's part of it as well. But you know, the other thing too is on the track side of the house, you know, leg speed is still king, right? You know, and regardless of whether it's a 90-inch gear or 120-inch gear, faster you pedal it, the faster you go. Faster you go, the more likely you are to win. So, you know, I'm taking a lot of opportunity at this point to sit on the rollers and just work on getting that central nervous system firing on that cycling rate.
And it's not necessarily just a track guy. I have as many of my roadies I can get on rollers right now. I have them on rollers simply because building that bikes, you know, building that skill set of the balance, but also working on that cadence where, you know, because the rollers are so great that you can work on cadence and the power doesn't matter. You don't have to sit there and try to hold 220 watts. You can hold whatever you're comfortable at 100 RPMs or 105 RPMs. So, that's, and Don, if you're listening, we're talking about you right now. And, getting that skill set of being able to be on those rollers and I just think it's one of the biggest kept secrets that roadies just don't know about.
Sure. Yeah. No. And I take them for granted because I've been a track guy for going on 42 years now, I guess. And that's just a normal part of the kit when you go to show up to the velodrome. Nice.
Yeah. So Keith used to be a rescue diver on aircraft carriers, and Keith would tell me about how he actually had a set of rollers on board and would spin, with the as the ship is listing.
That's another level right there. That's stepping it up. Nicely done, Keith. Yeah, definitely a game changer. Smooths out, cleans up your pedal stroke, cleans up your balance, cleans up a lot of those things, allows you to, make that quick response on the attack.
That's Donna. Please explain to her how important these rollers are.
Oh, they're absolutely critical to everything that is cycling. I would highly recommend. So I would do this. I've got a Le Mans. I've got a smart trainer. I've got a set of rollers. I've got, what else do I have? Couple odds and ends things as far as training stuff, watt bike availability. If I had the choice of one of those things, it would be a set of rollers. Dead serious, absolutely, completely honest. Bet you can.
Yeah, and I would agree with Dan on that. Keith, brother, you're pretty legit. So, and the other thing I throw in there is during the transition or during this early season when you're doing a lot of base, this is also a great opportunity to work on your body composition, because you don't want to go into a build phase or a competition phase trying to cut weight, because that's going to hurt bike, it's going to hurt gym, it's going to hurt across the board. So
yeah, that's a good point. Good opportunity to take advantage of that.
Focus in on their nutrition and getting that done. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but that durability that you mentioned starts in the gym. How much is enough in your perspective?
How much is enough in terms of gym volume or
just think about
size?
Just think about it from from a track perspective. You and I know it's like 5 days a week, but if you were looking at it from a mountain biking perspective and from a road perspective, because I get into this discussion with a lot, and they're like, well, yeah, I'm doing 3 days a week, and I'm in the gym for 45 minutes. What do you think? What would be your response?
Well, so this is basically, this is coming from a gym bro, right? I've spent my entire life in a gym. I love the gym. I look forward to doing it all the time, but a couple of things need to happen. You need to have consistency, and you need to have progressive overload. And those two things require, I don't know, I would say bare bones minimum 2 times a week, with probably close to, I would say, a good hour and a half a day. Probably better off 3 times a week. Also beyond that 45 minutes, simply because I'm a big fan of barbell stuff, squats, deadlift, bench, overhead press, big compound lifts that are going to give you more bang for the buck in a lot of ways, right? So, if you're doing a squat, which in my opinion is the absolute perfect exercise, and again, back to the rollers, if I had one exercise I could do in the gym, it would be squats.
Right.
upper body stability, core stability, fantastic leg workout, good mobility. Actually, if you're doing it properly, really good for any knee issues you're having, any hip issues you're having. You can rectify a lot of those by doing a proper squat with a bit of aggression on it. So you have to build the muscle, I guess, So if I'm doing a 45-pound barbell and I'm doing 3 sets of 10 squats with a barbell, just the barbell, I'm not challenging myself. I'm not actually progressing in any way, shape, or form. I'm basically just going to get really good at doing 3 sets of 10 with a barbell, with just the barbell. So loading the weight, loading the reps, there's several ways you can do it, but basically you have to challenge the physiology just like you do on the bike. You don't go out and ride at 200 watts all the time just because you can. You have to ride at 250 sometimes.
Yeah, it's funny because, I have a lot of athletes and, they want to be in that top 5% for their age group on the bike competing. From my perspective, they also need to want to be in the top 5% in the gym. And what that top 5% would be, a great standard, I think, across the board, is to be able to bench your body weight, be able to squat 1.5 times your body weight, and being able to deadlift twice your body weight.
Yep.
And those are the numbers that you ought to strive to. Now granted, you may not ever achieve that, but you should always be pushing towards that.
You should always be striving for it,
Right. And if you're pushing towards benching your body weight, you're not gonna stop at 115 pounds and say that's probably all I can do. You're going to keep pushing. So
yep.
That's just kind of that's the number that I like to use. And if you can get to that point that you do bench your body weight 1.5 times on a squat and twice the dead, you're in the top 5%.
I think you're going to find too, if you set that as a goal to strive for, that you're going to start seeing all these noticeable improvements on the bike in general, how you sleep. Good grief, there's a myriad of
metabolic rate.
Beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, just right off the bat, especially like with some of my female athletes, your metabolic rate is going to change. Your bone density is going to you're going to get better. Your appendicular lean mass ratio. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. It's just it's a great carrot to have out there to push towards.
Yep. And really, the bottom line is going to make you faster on a bike. Period.
Yep. Yeah, I tell my TTers that having because they'll ask me like, why do you have a lot of tricep stuff? It's because you have to hold this position, and being able to hold that position for a 40K TT without doing this, I mean,
shoulders, neck, traps, triceps, all kinds of stuff that.
And the second your body starts to fatigue and your top part starts to collapse, it changes your hip angle. And when it changes your hip angle, it changes the way that your glutes and quads are firing. That gets fatigued. A neat one. I've got one athlete. I don't know if Paul's on here or not. Paul, if you're on here, best of luck at Pan Am's this weekend. But he was cramping when we first started working together in cross, and we actually fixed his cramping because if you read all the literature, cramping is not a hydration issue. It's not being dehydrated. Lim, who wrote, or came up with Scratch initially, and then wrote like the couple of the different books. I mean, he flat out said, "Look, pickle juice, all that other stuff, that's not a fix. The fix is muscular endurance and done in the gym." And we fixed Paul's cramping through lower body gym work. And when you're talking about, a 60-minute cross race, 3 sets of 15 in the gym doesn't fix leg issues. So
no. Well, unless it's a really, really heavy 3 sets of 15.
But yeah, okay, fine.
I mean, I guess there's that caveat, but yeah, no, I think, and there's lots of, there's lots of information out there from some pretty reputable sources, I know we have what, 2, 3 conversations about gym work a week, maybe, between the two of us. I mean, we're always talking about, hey, what do you think about this? We're trying that. You're working with working with an accelerometer, being able to look at bar speed, playing with that on your end. All of those things are great ways to take advantage of the off season and get into the gym and actually build some strength. And and again, one of the things my female athletes talk to me a lot is like, I don't want to bulk up. Well, okay, don't bulk up. Cool. Pick up the weights, do the stuff. You're not going to bulk up. We're not going to go. We're not going to go and suddenly become mass monsters because we're picking up a few weights in the gym. So
again, and
great,
if you do,
great tool.
Wrong sport.
Yeah, wrong sport. Yeah.
Or Wada is going to have a question.
Yeah. There might be a concern or two from Wada and USADA about that sudden 40 pounds of muscle you put on in the off season. You might want to check your supplements if that's happening for you.
And for the female athletes out there, we'll drop an article in the description below. Think about creatine and all the science that has come out over the last couple of years on the benefits of creatine far beyond the gym bro science.
Yep.
So
yeah, hugely significant.
Trust us, creatine's not going to cause you to bulk up either. If it would, considering it's the most scientifically studied supplement, if creatine was just the success to bulking up, we'd be sitting here just drinking creatine right now.
Yeah, pretty much just eating it right out of the hot shotting it out of the can. Yeah. Highly effective, huge list of benefits from creatine. Yeah, definitely check it out. And yeah, you're not going to I have a side quest with a gym buddy of mine that I'm working toward a deadlift and a bench number for this winter, just kind of more for my amusement, not because it's really going to dramatically change anything I do on the bicycle at all. But
and at 60 years old, what is that deadlift amount?
So my son just went and hit a 600-pound deadlift. So I just want to stay within 100 pounds of him and get the 500 on the books, before he gets to 700. So, because I don't know that I can get a 600-pound deadlift.
No, but we're gonna live stream the 500. That's legit.
Yeah, no, I think we may as well. I'm gonna have to have proof because my son will call me out on it if I don't have visual confirmation of it. So, but that's a challenge. That's something that's going to be reasonably challenging for me in an amount of time that I don't need to be spending until August trying to do it. I'm hoping by January, February, I'm dancing with that a little bit, and then I can go back to my regularly scheduled programming and but have some fun with the stuff too. I mean, this is the time, it's like, I wonder how much I can squat. I wonder how many reps at body weight I can do. Go play with this stuff a little bit. Keep it structured and keep it, tangible to what you're trying to accomplish. But yeah, this is the fun time. This is the fun season right here.
Yeah, and for all those folks out there who love to chase like QOMs and KOMs, go do that this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry about being locked into. I can say when I write a training plan, and I'm pretty much sure you'll agree with me, Brian, that on Saturday and Sunday, I want you to just go get on the bike for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And however you want to do it. If you want to chase QOMs or KOMs, go for it. If you want to take the road bike and, leave it in the garage and grab a gravel bike and just go for 3 hours and do heart rate, fine. If you want to get on your cross bike and just go do single track and use RPE, fine. Just, this is a great time to reignite that purpose and, why you like doing this.
Yep, absolutely. And you bring up an interesting point too. Most people, aside from highly pampered cycling coaches, have 9 to 5 jobs, 5 days out of the week. They get their weekends off. Vast majority of a lot of the people I work with, they're, the majority of their volume is coming on Saturdays and Sundays. We're trying to do a Zwift workout or some sort of structured, very specific, shorter workout in lieu of basically getting that volume, trying to keep everything lined up and firing and maintain all those systems with the reduction in ride time, essentially. But yeah, absolutely. Go take your weekend if you can keep your spouse or your significant other from choking you to death for being gone for 3-4 hours. Go out on a 3-4 hour ride and enjoy yourself. Go play. I take the mountain bike out, and I climb exactly like I look like I climb. So going out and flogging myself to death on a mountain bike is actually fun. I go out and I play, I forget that I'm actually working really hard because, I'm right next to Garden of the Gods and, it's gorgeous out. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take advantage of those things, we've got a teammate that does some rowing. I mean, he's probably not doing a lot of rowing right now, but, go row, go do something. You don't have to be on the bike when the weather turns and, you live in Eastern Michigan or someplace, get a set of cross country skis, get some snowshoes, get a fat bike, there's all kinds of things you can be doing. And it's all about that skill set. I think it really comes down to this. It's skill set stuff, strength stuff, and volume stuff,
and building aerobic base.
Yeah. Yep.
So, well, we always kind of stick to about 30 minutes. We're just a minute or two over. If anybody has any questions, I will have Brian's and my emails in the description below. If anybody's got any ideas of what they would like to see on our next show, we will be doing these each Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next week, I will be in my RV heading towards Arizona to do it.
Yeah. Gonna see if we can sneak you onto a velodrome out there, huh?
I got to see what the new track's like. So
yeah, for sure. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Hopefully we can do a camp out in Tucson, February, March time period.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm very curious about the new velodrome. Looking forward to it, and back in the state of my old stomping grounds anyway. So yeah, that's been I've got a Phoenix Velodrome cycling hat from 1985, 86. And they're finally actually putting a velodrome in Arizona. They've been talking about it for 40 some odd years at this point. So the fact that they've actually got a new velodrome is really exciting for me because it was going the other way.
Yeah. They were painting the lines on a parking lot today.
Yep. Yeah. So have to give that a go. Definitely do a camp out there.
Yep. All right, Coach. Well,
all right, Coach. I guess
we'll probably talk
out of our off season.
Yeah, we'll probably talk tomorrow. The rest of you all won't see us tomorrow, but just like I said, if anybody's got an idea on a show for next week, drop us a note, And if not, we'll come up with something, and we look forward to talking to you all next week.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you guys.